Hello lovelies, welcome back to another interesting tutorial. So today's tutorial is going to be on how to draft a shoulder that's bustier, and it's very simple and easy to draft. This is a simple method and it's beginners friendly. So if this is what you like to learn, please stay tuned to the end of the video. I thank all my returning subscribers. Thank you very much for coming back to watch my video. If you are new here and never subscribed yet, please consider clicking on that subscribe button and also turn on your bell notification to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So let's get right into the video. So as you can see, I folded my pattern paper in half and I drew out my starting line, which also served as my shoulder line. So we are going to be going step by step on how to draft the shoulder that's busty. You need your shoulder to your bust point, shoulder to your under bust, shoulder to your waistline, which is the half length. So from the shoulder to the bust point, I take 11 inches and I'm going to mark 11 inches all across so that I get a straight line. To fold this paper, you need the biggest measurement of your body divided by 4, and then you add 5 to 6 inches for the sewing allowance and also for the dart. And the shoulder to the under bust is 14 inches. The shoulder to the waist or the half length is 17 inches. Then I'm adding 2 inches for the allowance, which I'm going to mark across and roll a line. So the next thing to do is to indicate the lines. This is our shoulder line. This is the bust point. This is the under bust. This is the waistline. And this is the allowance. So on the shoulder line, I'm marking half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. The shoulder is 60 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. And to take your shoulder measurement, you measure from one shoulder to the other. So I'm taking 3 inches for the wideness of the neckline and then the depth of 3 inches, which is standard, 3 by 3 inches. And I'm taking my curve ruler to draw the neckline. So we are going to leave the shoulder point here and then mark our bust span. Your bust span is your nipple to nipple measurement. That's the distance between one nipple to the other, and it's 8 inches. So half of 8 inches is 4 inches. So on the bust point, I mark 4 inches. On the under bust, I mark 3.5 inches. You minus half inch from the 4 inches. So under bust, I mark 3.5 inches. And then on the waistline, 3.5 inches. I will extend it to the allowance line, which is 3.5 inches. And I'm going to roll a straight line from the under bust to the allowance like so. And then connect to the bust point. Can you see that? You see it's giving it a nice shape. So now we come to the shoulder line. So we are going to measure what we have on this shoulder line and divide it by 2. We have 5 inches divided by 2 is 2.5 inches. So I mark 2.5 inches and I'm going to connect these 2.5 inches straight to the bust point. Now I'm taking 2 inches for the dart. So under the bust, I'm going to mark 2 inches for the dart, and on the waistline, I mark 2 inches on this side. And on the waistline, I mark 2 inches for the dart, and I'll extend it to the hem line. So I'm going to draw a line like this, a straight line like this. Hope you understand what I'm explaining. If you don't understand, please just follow what I'm doing. So from this bust point, I'm going to connect with a curve ruler to meet these 2 inches that's here. That's to create the bust. So now, coming back to the shoulder, whatever I took for the darts on the under bust and on the waistline, I'm going to extend the same 2 inches up. I'm not going to add anything on the left towards the center front. I'm marking the 2 inches towards the side. So I mark 2 inches here. So what I'm going to do now is to connect the dart straight from the shoulder line to the bust point. Our cap is formed. And then here, blend the sharp points here. So now we come back to the shoulder. Half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. So 8 inches is here, is on this point. So whatever I took for the dart here, 2 inches, I'm going to replace it here. So I replace the 2 inches here. So when you measure from the center front to this dart line is 5.5 inches. When you take it here, you get your 8 inches. So we have our 8 inches for the dart. So from this 8 inches, I'll be coming down by 9 inches for my armhole depth. So let me use the pencil so that I mark from here whatever I have here so that I can get a straight line. I have 10, so I'll extend the 10 here so that I can get it correctly. So next, I'm going to draw my line like so. And then I'll extend the line outwardly like this. And this line becomes my chest line. So I'll be coming down 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And then I'll connect from the neck point straight to the shoulder slope. So now to create the armhole curve, I'm going to measure what I have here, which is 8 inches. And I'm going to divide it by 2, which is 4 inches. Then I'll come in by 1/2 inch because we are drafting the front piece. And the front armhole is a bit deeper than the back armhole. So you come in by 1/2 inch from this center point. Then I'll take my straight shoulder, connect like so. But before creating the armhole curve, I'm going to take my bust measurement. And the bust is 40 divided by 4, which is 10 inches. 10 inches is here, and then 2.5 for ease. And then whatever you have here, you measure it up, which is 1/2 inch. Then you add it here. Then you create your armhole curve. So what we are going to do now is to take our horizontal measurement. So we've taken the bust measurement. Now we come to the underbust. The underbust is 37 inches divided by 4 is 9.2. So I place 9.2 plus 2 inches for the dart, which is 11.2 inches. So we come to the waistline, and the waist is 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. 9.5 plus 2 inches dart intake is 11.5. So I mark 11.5 here. And then I mark whatever I have here, I'll mark it on this allowance line. So I connect that. Don't worry about the shape because after joining it, you get the right shape you want. So what I'll be doing next is to add sewing allowance. And I'm adding 2 inches for the sewing allowance. So what you are going to do now is to measure the dart line from this shoulder to the bust point to see what we have here and also what we have here, if they are equal. We have 11 inches here, and here we have 10.75. So we need 0.25 to extend this line up. And then you connect it to the shoulder line. Please pay attention here carefully. Because if these two dart lines we have, if you measure from this point, from this shoulder slope line to the bust point, you see that this line is longer than this one. So when you measure it, whatever you have here I have 11 inches, and here I have 10.75. So I have to extend this one by 0.25. Why? Because after joining your pieces, you see that if you don't extend the shorter one, you see that you'll be short of fabric. One will be longer than the other, which will not give you the right measurement. So I extended 0.25 and I extended it to the neckline. So what we are going to do next is to cut it out. So you have to go through all what you mark, your measurements, everything, to make sure that you don't make any mistake before you cut it out. So now we are going to cut it out. So we cut the neckline first. So what you are going to do now is to cut the armhole. We are not going to cut the shoulder slope yet. So now we are going to cut out the dart. So first we are going to cut this line, then you trim a little bit out because we extend it to the neckline. So we are going to cut the second dart. Then now you cut the shoulder slope line. So our shoulder dart bustier is ready. Let me open it up for you to see how it looks. So guys, after cutting it, this is how it looks. You see where I extended the dart line? You see? It matches exact. One dart leg is no longer than the other. And this is where it ended before, you see. But because we extended it with the inches that we added, you see, it matches exactly, you see. So we are moving to draft our back pattern. So guys, this is our back pattern. I've already gone ahead and drew out the lines. This is our shoulder line, and it also serves as our starting point. And then this is our zipper line. I added 2 inches for the zipper allowance. And from the shoulder to the bust point is 11 inches. And the shoulder to the waistline is 17 inches. And then 2 inches for the allowance. At the back, we are going to add a normal dart. It's not going to be princess dart. No, it's just going to be a normal dart. So let's draft the back piece. So I'll divide my shoulder measurement by 2, 16 divided by 2, 8 inches. I mark 8 inches here. And for the neck width, I took 3 inches as we took on the front piece, and then 1.5 inch for the depth. For the back neckline, you mark 3 inches by 1.5 inches, 3 inches for the wideness and 1.5 inches for the depth. So I'll connect with my curved ruler. On the shoulder point, you come down 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then you come down 9 inches for the armhole depth. Then you extend the line outwardly like so. And then draw the straight line. And this line serves as our chest line. So now let me indicate the lines. This is our shoulder line. This is our chest line. This is our bust point. And then this is our waistline. And this is the allowance. So the next thing to do is to impute our bust span. And the bust span I'm using is 4 inches. It's 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So I mark 4 inches on the bust point and 4 inches on the waistline and also on the hemline. And I draw a straight line. So on the bust point, you go up 1 inch for the dart. On the waistline, you take 1 inch for the dart and divide it half on each side of the dart line. Then you go down and take the same on the allowance line, and then you connect to the 1 inch up. Okay, so this is the dart for the back. So the next thing to do is to impute our body measurement. So the bust is 10 inches, that's 40 divided by 4, 10 inches. And then as I did in the front, I add 2.5 for ease. And then on the waistline, the waist circumference is 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. So 9.5 plus 1 inch, that intake is 10.5. So I'll mark 10.5 for the waistline and 10.5 on the hemline. Then I'll connect with my ruler, my straight ruler. So the next thing I'll do is to add 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Then connect with my ruler like so. So now we are going to measure what we have here on the armhole depth and divide it by 2. We have 9 inches, half is 4.5 inches. So for the back armhole, you don't come in by half an inch because the front is deeper than the back. So what I'll do now is just to create the armhole curve. From this center point, I'll create the armhole like so. So what I will be doing next is to eliminate the zipper bulging at the back. And to do that, I'll go in 0.75 from here because the shape of my client is different. You can go in by half an inch, So I'll connect from this 0.75, and then on this line I'll also go in 0.75 and connect it up to the neck point or before the neck point. So what I took from here, 0.75, you will place it back here and then redraw your allowance line. So this is out. Then on the shoulder slope, I'll add half an inch for the sewing allowance. I didn't add it in the front one because we did some alterations there for the dart line. So when cutting it on your fabric, the back piece, you don't add any sewing allowance on top of the shoulder line. But when cutting the front piece, you add half an inch for sewing allowance when cutting it on your fabric. So now we are going to cut it out. Extend the neckline to the zipper line. Then the last thing to cut is your zipper body. So our back is ready. This is how the back piece look like. So guys, this is our front piece, and then this is our back piece. So our shoulder dart bustier is ready. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful and interesting. Share my videos and leave comment down below. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.